Good morning. I'm somewhere in the Peak District and I'm a little confused.
On 2 occasions this summer, I have done a lot of research, accurate so I thought, until I got to my locations. On the first occasion, I'd had a splendid morning photographing infrared in Blackpool and decided to meander my way down 100 miles south to a new location for me near Matlock. On the second occasion, I really should have known better. I've been here before, several times, and having waited for nearly a year for the right conditions, I relied on my experience and knowledge to get me through. Oh yes, and a mislabelled social media post. And this is the moment I realised I was an utter plank.
Well, hello. Day 3 of my early morning starts on this solo girl tour, hence the old puffy face. And I'm a little confused. I'm in the Peak District and I'm looking at a place that I've done a lot of research on, and I just presumed the sun came up in a totally different direction. It seems I didn't do my research that well. This is what I'm looking at. Some lovely gnarly beaches going off into the distance. Every now and then a nice bit of foreground stuff going on. And this is absolutely a case for a lens that's going to give me some perspective compression. Right. 70-200 allows me to get the illusion of compression, which is quite helpful in a situation like this, because I would like those trees to look a little more squished together, technical phrase you understand, than perhaps they are. It also allows me to go far enough down so I can eradicate elements of the sky that are peeking through. So on this side, I've got some great gnarly beaches. On this side, I've got a mixture, depending on where I stand, of silver birches and firs. Now I've just got to find a place or few where I can set up and just take some nice shots. Got quite a bit of time. It's 5:30.
Now there's 2 things that contributed to my lack of brilliance today. One, I had seen many shots where the light was coming in only from the right hand side of those gnarly trees. I assumed that was sunrise direction. And in my tiredness from coming from Blackpool, I'd actually not used my normal app, What 3 Words, to look at where I was going, and that meant that north actually wasn't north, and I was all over the place with my directions.
Well, that might be good enough for the first shot, to break the ice. Rather like going on a date with a new partner, breaking the ice is quite important in a new location.
Oh, heck.
I've just made that up. But it's quite true though. Get the first shot over and done with, and then relax into it all a bit.
For your personal welfare, never take any dating advice from me.
Imagine this with a lovely bit of mist, a bit of atmosphere, the light streaming through. Yeah, the chances of me ever being in this area when that's going to happen is extremely slim. Thus, I have to make the most of the conditions I've got. Now, as you can see, it's actually quite windy as well, which means that my foliage is going to be moving. So I'm going to have to balance shutter speed and possibly ISO. Like on a first date, I need to get to know my subject.
Smooth welcome.
How unromantic is that with subject?
It's only really when you look through the lens that you can actually appreciate how much that wind was affecting the shot. I also needed to work out where I wanted to place my elements, how much of them would be seen, and what I would focus on. I just needed to stop being half glass empty and see what was in front of me. It's unique. It's lovely. Come on, welcome. Work the scene. Let's be honest with you, the photos you are going to see are a bit of a dog's dinner. So much so, I stopped editing them. Everyone has their off days, and I thought actually I should share mine too.
Ooh, confession. I am really finding this difficult this morning. We've been rained on, the wind is quite something. I'm really quite chilly, which is unusual, it being up north and everything. One of the things I'm trying to do is to remember what attracted me to this place in the first place. And clearly it was the gnarly trees, it was the wall, not so much anything going on this side, it's that I want to feature. What I didn't realise is it's actually quite a short length, and perhaps about 350 metres. And that means that very quickly, if you're not careful, you run out of kind of depth of trees if you're on a longer lens. By heck, I look rough today.
Right, my heart's clearly not in this.
Really rough.
Let me put us all out of our misery. Luckily, I've got a friend. He's pretty damn good at shooting this area, and I'm not too proud to beg. think my failure to plan fell into 3 areas. I presumed a sunrise direction based on social media photos. I used a different app that didn't pin to north, and therefore I couldn't check to see whether my presumptions were right or wrong. And just like with my fabled first date, I should have walked away earlier. Now for this location, there is no excuse. I'm familiar with it. #shameful.
I am now in Arne, at the RSPB Nature Reserve in Dorset. What I'm looking for, if I can do, is to get some nice sunset conditions. It should be fine. It's about 20-23% high cloud. And that means that because I've got myself all excited and travelled 2.5 hours, hair eating, I'm likely to be bitterly disappointed. So with that in mind, I thought I would at least try and minimise some of the variables. And what that means is I need to do a little bit of scouting. So I'm going to the shore area because I fancy seeing if I could get a boat or two with maybe Brownsea Island in the background, I don't know. But that should be around the area where sunset will affect and highlight the loveliness of the heather. Don't forget, the overhead sun does tend to bleach it somewhat.
So after a splendid 25-minute walk to my location, and let's face it, you couldn't ask for more splendid conditions regarding the heather.
I confess I am really hoping we get something colourful in the sky and perhaps even a few of those clouds catching if they emerge.
And that's when it hits me. The position of the sun is not at all where I was expecting it to be.
Right, a bit of a fast leg it back to the car because I trusted the labelling on some shots that I saw on the internet of this place. Well, it seems I have made a bit of a boo-boo and my smug face has now disappeared. This is actually a sunrise location, not a sunset location. And yes, I do use photo pills. However, I trusted something on social media, I think in part due to jet lag. Anyway, the sun is not with us. 23% high clouds, I've gone to about 80% high cloud. And so that may not be a bad thing in a way. So let's crack on and see what we can make of it.
The desperation in this monologue will be familiar to you.
Trying to get enough of this so that it has an impact. And because the sky is not massively interesting, limiting it, although I can do something with it in post. I'm going to have to do a focus stack, but also because the wind is quite strong, I'm having to go fast enough so that this isn't moving around. So in order to get this tack sharp, I'm probably going to have to go at about a 200th, if not to a 400th of a second, and adjust by upping the ISO. Right, here goes.
Prepare thyself, viewers, for more dogs' dinners. It didn't really matter what I did. I was never going to get that lovely, softly lit shot, or one that I can incorporate a blinding sun scar like I had the day before. But luckily, I've got another friend, and she's rather good too. Dorset is Sarah's backyard, and lo, look what I found. So I'm here today to confess all and to say to you, just don't do what I did. Do your research, check it. Happy days.